have a lot of students now that come up to me either from Georgetown or from UBC saying like, what can we do during our school years to prepare ourselves either to work for a startup or to launch a startup? And I would say the best way to do that is to actually work in a startup. Startups need help in every possible direction, but it's not a lifestyle that works for everyone. You have very little direction. You have to take a lot of responsibility, and you're pulled in different directions. Most times you don't have a set work plan like in a traditional work in office environment. So I would say look into what alumni have startups in your whichever alma mater you're at or in the region where your school is, and ask to volunteer. I can honestly say that even volunteering and interning 5 to 6 hours a week at a startup really helps you get a grasp and understanding of how that environment is, of how that work environment is, if it works for you, etc. No, we actually don't have any, we have almost no remote members. What we do have is flexible time. So, for example, we are about 5 people in production, and then this time 8 in the management at the moment. Many of which I'm in a co-working space at WeWork, and they come in at varying times. During my undergraduate, Maria mentioned breaking barriers. UBC helped me so much. First of all, they helped me plug into the United Nations network and help sponsor leadership course that I did in Dubai. So for that, not every school is structured differently. Some schools have funds that you can apply for to attend conferences or to attend leadership trainings. I will say I have found the best success just asking directly at the vice president's office saying, hi, there's this leadership project that I want to do, or there's this conference that I want to run. Can I count on you for your support? That can be monetary, or that can be that they give you funding. For example, at UBC, my last year, I ran an international leadership and entrepreneurship conference called Can Do Conference, and we brought in 6 leaders from all over the world to train UBC students over 3 days. It was a lot of hard work, extremely intensive, entirely student run. I was the only founder of this idea and recruited an amazing team to help out in the course of this conference, but it would not have been possible if the Go Global office and an international lounge at UBC had not supported. They had things called like community grants that help support university. So I would say that looking into the leadership at the different programs that they have. Currently, Georgetown, I finished my master's 2 years ago, but for example, I mentioned I work in a co-working space. I work out of the Georgetown Venture Lab, which is situated within WeWork. And I go to events, and we have entrepreneurs in residence at Georgetown that help you throughout your entire life. I would say just spending more time being a regular student and socializing. I think that maybe perhaps I took all of these extracurriculars to at times an extreme, and because I had so many different interests, I wanted to tap into and learn everything. But of course you can't do everything and still hang out and spend a lot of time with your friends or meet new people out of those groups. So I think that looking back, I wish maybe there were a couple clubs that I could have not gone to and actually spent more time developing peer relationships. And I have a fellow roommate who now has her own food company, and having that honesty and that feedback of somebody you can really trust to bounce idea off of, I think that's something that you can almost only cultivate in undergrad. Zafero, my current startup, entirely bootstrapped. I put in basically all of my savings from working prior to launching it full time, I won a couple of pitch competitions. One of them was this past September with the Ford Foundation, which was a $20,000 pitch competition. But for a year and a half, 2 years, it's been entirely savings, bootstrapped, and pitch competition based. We're about to launch a new round of financing with actually opening it up to others and looking into angel investors right now. So what I suggest, it's very hard to force a mentorship relationship. Sometimes people go to someone and say, will you be my mentor? Well, there are many different aspects to mentorship. I think the very best way to find one is to go to events and things that are aligned with what best works for you, whatever you are super interested in. I was so interested in environmental science. I went to a bazillion events and I met people. I was very interested in entrepreneurship. That's where I met my mentor. So I think that creates a very natural and low pressure environment, because just going up to someone and asking, will you be my mentor? That relationship sometimes is forced and doesn't always work out. I would say two things. One is talking with peers who understand my industry. I have a lot of wonderful friends who care and love, but they don't necessarily understand the specific challenges that I go through as an entrepreneur in the food industry right now. So having those talks and those calls every couple of weeks with peers is invaluable. And in terms of fun recharging, one of my passions is salsa and bachata dancing. So it's the one time that my mind is shut off and I'm not thinking of everything that needs to be done. And so I'll put it in my schedule as if it was as if it were a meeting. I will literally put it in my schedule, because I know that when I do it for 2-3 hours, I am a much better boss the day after. I'm a much better worker. I'm more efficient. So I think that the things that really let me emotionally have an outlet with those peer groups, and then mentally shut down with physical activity.